Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
We're back.
How you doing, Liz? How you feeling?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing great. It's a little different today because we usually stream live, but it's kind of pre-recorded today. So unfortunately, we're not able to interact as much as we could. Because as you guys know, we actually, some of you guys know, we're in Central Florida, and I heard there's a rumor there's a storm coming through. It is coming through.
a little rumor of
a big storm's coming through. So we had to just to say, if we just, you know what, because the office where we at, usually we record in the office. The building's not going to be open. So let's pre-record, because we want to make sure we stay on track, make sure we stay consistent with the message and be able to help as many families as possible.
I love that. That's called consistency.
Yes.
And being consistent is so important. Plus, right now in the evening, everyone's going to be home looking at the news, scrolling on their devices. So why not join us on the Army Empire Podcast? So what are we going to be talking about today, Coach?
We're going to talk about some red flags that come across, not the positive, but the red flags that come. There's a lot of red flags out there that people go when it comes to their money, but kind of 4 common red flags, especially I've seen happen recently, for all of us to be aware of. It's crazy because I was talking to my wife the other day. I was like, back in the days, when someone wanted to take your money or kind of mislead you, they had to kind of rob you. Said, don't walk around with cash because someone might get robbed or something, right? They used to break into your home, break into your car. I mean, if that's what they had to do, but now they don't have to do that anymore, right? They can just stay behind a computer somewhere, maybe different state, different country in their pajamas and try to get people out of their money. So and we want people to be aware of it because it's as technology grows, as we actually interact more, technology was very beneficial.
Yeah.
As it made our life a lot easier, but it's also on different aspects. It's kind of has to make us more vigilant. Are things that are out there for definitely us to be aware of.
Okay, so that's good. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Please tag and share this because we want everyone to know about these common red flags that Bernard is going to be showing us and teaching us today. So grab your pen and paper. I already have mine so I can take my notes and learn what some of these red flags are. So here we go.
Absolutely. The first red flag is identity theft and bank fraud, which is one thing that which is very common out there. And we got a chance to experience that on a personal bit about a couple of weeks ago. It's very easy. It's crazy what happens. Like a lot of times, sometimes is people have access to your bank account sometimes, and it's you have to be very, very careful. Like a lot of times it sounds very authentic. I'll share a personal story. About 2-3 weeks ago, right? We got a message from our bank, right? It said, listen, possible charge. This is this charge. Have you approved this charge? Very common, right? And we actually, they called us and somebody called us, right? The person called us and says, hey, listen, from such and such bank, we're not going to say the bank, right? And we're doing this. Something happened. Did you authorize this for $490 from such? And I'm like, no, we didn't. Right. And it was from our business account. I had to call my wife to get on 3-way because sometimes I'm not aware of some things that, my trust. So let me call her. So we got her on 3-way. And I was at one red flag that kind of set me off when the person was calling was the signal was kind of weak. Like, hold on, I can't hear you. It was kind of botched. Right. So I'm like, if someone's on a call center, usually they have how can I say that? They're using a call like And that was a red flag, number one. And one thing he did, which is common, he actually, listen, I'm going to send you a text message, right? You're going to get a code for your text message to make sure to authenticate it's you. right? And we actually got and actually give them, I gave them the code, right? Which is normal because sometimes you call, they send you a text,
Yeah.
which a lot of institutions do. They send you a text just to verify it's you.
Yes.
Then as I was talking to him, then I got a call from at the bank also. I'm like, okay, and I said, listen, I'm getting a call from the bank and you're on the phone with you. Why is that happening? And so that was a red flag for me right there. And then he was like, oh, and what he was actually doing, he was trying to log into our account and he needed to change the password and change the user ID, try to get on, but I had to get a code. So he had my name, he had my phone number, and he had one of the last 4 digits, one of the cards that we have, right? So he had that information, and it kind of, and I was like, okay, why is the other bank calling me on the other line when this is happening? So at that point in time, I knew it was something wrong, and I said, listen, I don't feel talking. I'm gonna hang up right now, right? And I hung up right then and there, right? And I actually did. I made sure that our bank's okay. I transferred different bank account that we had to make sure nothing was going to happen, right? And actually, then I called the bank. I actually called the bank myself, and I said, and they said, no, the person that called is actually a lady that called, because they actually track who called, whether it's a man or a lady. They know who's trying to reach out to you, so the banks know. So it was actually the lady that she's like, well, actually, it's a lady that called, it's not a gentleman that called. So I knew it was a red flag. And at the same time, so we had to kind of get a new card, things like that. It had to happen. But that happens, and thank God we called it on time. And now, so what they do, even if you call the bank right now, what they're supposed to do, as you're calling them, they say, okay, wait, I'm going to call you back on the phone. So they call me back on the phone on the other line to make sure that I was the one calling. So they have to call my number on the record. So I have to wait for them to make sure that there's no one's calling on your behalf.
On your behalf. Yeah.
Exactly. But the challenge with that is, I was able to catch it, but if there's a lot of people, they won't catch it.
They don't know.
They won't. It sounds very authentic. It sounds very legitimate, right? They sound professional. They sound good. They sound sophisticated, but that happens a lot of time. Like we had our in-laws, like last year, this happened to them, and they was recovered some money, but not all of it.
Yeah.
So this is common for people to be aware of, to make sure. One thing I recommend, just check your bank accounts every couple of days. Just make sure there's anything weird happening. One thing that's very important when you do your password, because we tend to have the same password or same user ID for across all things. Make sure you don't do that. Make sure you I know it's tedious. I know you have to, but it's safer, because what happens is it's common. If the more you use that, the more it's out there, and the more people can kind of log in and make sure they take advantage, unfortunately.
Wow, that is insane. But it's true what you said. With the advancement of technology and all the things that they do, literally, someone can call you and say, you're going to get a text message. I need the code, because they already have your phone number.
Exactly. So it's the craziest thing. So it's for people to be aware of that, because that's common. And unfortunately, like we talked, that leads to number 2, elder abuse. Okay. A lot of times there's older people that getting hurt because of this. That happens a lot of time because people are older, are not tech savvy. They tend to be more trusting. And we have to be very careful. So make sure at the same time, if you have someone that's older parent, make sure you kind of be vigilant with them, ask them for help, and listen. If something sounds weird, don't do it. It's the craziest thing. There's a movie out there. I don't know if you've seen it, called The Beekeeper, right? It's actually, it's a weird movie. It's scary. Actually, it's like a company that actually took advantage of somebody that's older, right? And they actually they took all the money out, and the person, yes, it's crazy. But
I'm jotting it down.
It got me so upset watching that movie, but it's common. That happens a lot of times, right? And a lot of times it's very elaborate. It's not just like one person do it. It's elaborate,
It's a group of people doing it together.
And they're professional, and they're professionals out there. So that's a major challenge, as far as so important. So that's so important also.
what would you suggest for, because it's a good tip that you gave us about not having our one password across the board for everything that we do. I mean, it's our Hulu password, it's our bank password, it's our Facebook password, like it's all the passwords. So to get into all of those things, what would you suggest for somebody? Like, what do we do in order to make sure we have all of these passwords in one spot?
I mean, one way to do it is one way you have to do it old school. Put in your house somewhere, maybe, because sometimes even if you have on your phone, some people can have it on their phone sometimes to make sure, because it's very hard to remember. So you might have it in your note, but the challenge is if you lose your phone, then you kind of lose everything. So you kind of have to be old school, write it down like we used to do, right? Put it somewhere safe that you can have access if you need to. And also, if you have someone that's older, please have them write their password, because sometimes somewhere they'll forget. That happens so many times. So we got to make sure that we actually take care of that. And also,
good.
And that comes back to number 2, elder abuse. Something and unfortunately, and it's very controversial. Like someone older get taken advantage, and unfortunately, the sad part, sometimes they get taken advantage by people that are close to them, and that's common, and that's something it's kind of, but it happens, and I give an example. Like one thing that happened about a year and a half ago, someone kind of came to office, right? He's like, listen, I want to. And he had a power attorney for his dad, right? And it was legitimate, and he had an account. And they're getting very low rate of return, and he's like, I want to be able to move it, be able to have it grow, have some kind of security, be able to get a little bit more than we get around. It's like, absolutely, we'll look at different options, and it sounds very legitimate. So he had a power attorney. I saw the paperwork. So he was saying that his dad is kind of like he's in a home now, so he can't really function. So he's taking care of that, and he came with a statement. So I looked at the statement, and I think, listen, we're gonna set up the account with the same address that's on the statement. And the name and the phone number, and something that triggered. He's like, can you put? Because sometimes is I have my other sibling. If they see it, they're gonna ask questions, and they want to take advantage of him. And a lot of times, can you put like my address and my phone numbers just in case? Because I'm power attorney. And on hindsight, it sounds good, but something did not sit right with me.
Oh, that discernment.
It did not sit right. And I said, listen, I'd rather if we can't use the same address or phone number, I'd rather not do it. Or you can have your dad. I see your dad physically, even if I have to go where he's at and talk to him and get a chance to meet him, let him know at least what's going on, to document that that this was legitimate. And it's like, well, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's gonna work. And it didn't happen. And that's why someone spoke to him like a year ago. Someone else did it for him, but I didn't feel right doing it, and I wasn't going to do it. And there's a lot of people that would have said, well, it's kind of legit. It seemed legitimate, but he can do it. But something did not sit right with me. It was not. I look at what if that was my sister? What if that was my brother? What if that was my parent? Or what if that was? I mean, so I was thinking of all these different things that we have to make sure I protect us. I said, you know what? It's okay. I like to sleep good at night. I'm not gonna do anything, have to come back and somebody else. And there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that they'll do. Listen, I would have gotten paid about $8,000 for the transaction just to do a transaction transfer, and I walked away from it. I said, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
we're not doing that, and that's something that's important. And I tell people, walk away from it. If something don't sit right with you, ask more questions. Maybe you have to ask more questions, but just ask more questions. Document everything, but so important to protect. But that happens sometimes. And listen, maybe they wasn't trying to take advantage. Maybe it was legitimate, but it just didn't sit right with me. And I have to make sure that we kind of protect them.
Wow, there's so much there, because it's like you're not just like the financial coach and helping, but you're also protecting people.
Yes, absolutely.
When you feel, and there's that, what you mentioned in one of the first episodes about integrity, and just all of those things are all wrapped in when you have a financial advisor, when you go visit Bernard, this is what you're going to get when it comes to the finances. There's that discernment there, that as you're having a conversation, it started off well, and then red flag.
something was a red flag. I said, nah, we're not. And I've done that a lot of my years. A lot of time over the years, I've walked away from. I was like, this is not good. It didn't feel right with me, and I kind of walked away from it. And that there's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay. And also, the third one that's kind of very is very prevalent out there, which is crypto. It's very and listen, and there's a lot of platform. This is very kind of controversial too at the same time, right? Because it's been past couple of years, and crypto is kind of like they use branch technology. They use blockchain technology. It's a different way of currency rather than money currency. And what attracts people in crypto is because it's not regulated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not regulated by the bank, and it's not regulated by the government, and not regulated by the banks. But the problem with crypto is not regulated by the government. It's not regulated by so there's a challenge with that. So there's a very big potential for a lot of fraud to come through that. And over the years, and listen, there might be some good platforms out there, things you can use like vehicles, but for the most part, what I've seen, a lot of them end up being some glorified Ponzi schemes, usually. Glorified Ponzi schemes. And that's something I let people to be very, very aware of, and because that's what happens. And listen, and something Warren Buffett, he was the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, they call him the Wizard of Omaha. He's like one of the best investors. He's like, I think he's about 80, 90 years old right now, right? And one thing he said that's so key. He said, number one is never invest your money in something that you don't understand.
Correct.
Never invest your money in something you don't understand. If you don't understand something, if you can't really be very clear about it, don't invest your money there. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that is so important. That's the first number one advice. The second, never invest your money with somebody that's not either investment license or securities license.
Correct.
Do not invest your money. My good friend, my church brother, no.
So what?
If they're not investment or securities license, do not invest your money with them. Don't do it. Okay. That's a second caution, right? That's very important. Okay. Listen, there's investment where someone's life insurance license can do, but the only investment someone life insurance is an annuity, is a fixed annuity or a fixed index annuity, which is very secure, they guarantee very low rate of returns, like 2%, 4%. It's very low rate of returns that they guarantee. So you're not going to get big rate of returns. I just want to be clarified. There are investments that but it's very low rates of returns. Okay. The third thing, anyone that guarantees you 10% rate of return, 20% rate of return, guaranteed 15, 20%, 10% rate of return, 25, you can double your money. You can triple your money in a year, in 6 months. You need to run away as fast as possible. You need to run away as fast. There is not an investment out there that anyone can say they can guarantee you 10%, 15%, 20, 25%. That is not true. That is not true out there. There's no one guarantee. It's just run away. Just
wow.
Run away. Don't get involved with that. Listen, I've walked away from a lot of people that have to listen. Can you guarantee me 10%? I says no. But the market did 20%. No, I was like, no, I can't guarantee you 10%.
Mm-hmm.
If you stay for the long term, you're gonna get a nice rate of return if you stay for long term. But I can't guarantee you next year the market is gonna give you 10%.
Yeah,
I can't do that. And I've walked away for probably millions of dollars of transactions because someone said, "Oh, I have 300,000, I have 200,000. Can you guarantee?" I said, "Absolutely not. We can't guarantee you that."
Yeah,
and that's something. Stay away from that. No one can guarantee you.
Yeah. So what's that word guarantee?
When you see guarantee, it just now are there investments that have let's say fixed investments? Absolutely, but they don't guarantee you 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Or they like index, how can I say that? Index annuity out there, right? Mm-hmm. That maybe have a cap on the bottom and they actually give you a top. Absolutely. There's some, but those are secure investment. Those are secure and guaranteed investments. But anyone that guarantees you, then just run away from that. It's not a good thing. And also, it's so important. Also, number one, not number one. Number four, you have to make sure never borrow money to invest. Never take a loan out on your house to invest. Never take a loan on a credit card to invest on anything. Anything. Don't ever take any kind of loans to invest. Number one. And sometimes people might say, well, it makes a lot of sense because I can borrow at 2%, 4% and invest and get 10, 15% makes sense. But the problem is you can't predict how the investment is going to do, number one.
Correct.
And number two, you have to pay that money back right away. So how are you going to pay? So you got to have the money to pay whatever loan you got back right away. And at the same time, the challenge with that also is, listen, and there's even if you were fortunate enough to earn interest, you have to take money. You have to take the interest out to pay for the loan. Then you end up paying capital gains side because you took the interest out. So there's a lot of it's so difficult. It's so complicated. So never do that. Like we're not even allowed. We're not even allowed to actually, if someone says I borrow, I was like, no, you can't take it.
Right.
You can't take it. Can't take it. No. If you borrow, do not borrow money at all. Ever borrow money to invest. It's bad. It's not smart. And if someone came up to me, I was like, no. I give an example. I had a client come up to me like 2 years ago. Do you remember when they had GameStop, the whole thing with GameStop? They were shorting a couple of guys on the computer, right? They were putting some things because what happens, a lot of how can I say that, the venture capitalists, what they do, they kind of bet on the stock failing. So GameStop was going down, so they were betting so much money on the stock going down, failing. So what happened? They actually drove the stock up, right? The stock price up. So it kind of went up. A lot of people that and put money and they invested and they made a lot of money. And one of them kind of, listen, I heard GameStop. I'm like, whatever, do not do it. I want to take some money. I'm like, no, do not do it. Not even like the next day, Liz. The thing crashed. The thing crashed. So I tell people, never, if something sounds too good to be true, most likely it is out there. So that's something that's so important for people to kind of be aware of, not to borrow money, not to do anything like that, to invest in any investment whatsoever. Be aware of that and ask questions, ask for documentation. It's better to have more information. It's better to you know what? Delay, let me get more information than anything else, please. And ask someone else. Ask for, like, I tell my clients, listen, come to me. If someone comes to me in investment, come to me. And here's what I always say. And just to round it off, I learned something very powerful. There's two kinds of monies out there that we all have. There's serious money and there's play money.
Correct.
There's serious money and there's play money. Now, serious money is money for your retirement. That's serious money. Money for emergencies, that's serious money. Money for you to buy a house, that's serious money. Money, for example, for college education, that's serious money. Money for anything that you want to buy emerging, that's serious money. Serious money is any money that you cannot afford to lose.
Correct.
You cannot afford, like, I cannot afford to lose that money. See, that is serious money, right? That money should be invested very conservative, based on your risk tolerance, but based on conservative vehicles out there, right? Make sure you conservative vehicles out there are investments that actually are kind of somewhat regulated, or some kind of have a great, strong track record. I'm talking about decades, not like a week, decades of track record. Okay. See, that's your serious money. Now, play money is money. Listen, I can invest this money. Even if I lose it, it's not going to affect me financially. It's not going to hurt me. It's like, oh, wow, I lost it. But it's not going to affect. See, that's play money. And you should never, ever invest. If someone wants to take a chance and try this crypto, make sure it's your play money, not your serious money.
Oof, that's so good. Say that again for the people in the back.
Yes. Make sure if listen, I want to see if I can happen. My friend, cousin's friend, brother did it, and he actually made money. If make sure that's your play money. Make sure it's not going to affect you financially.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really good.
And
that right there could be a whole episode. That right there could be a whole episode.
Absolutely. That is so important. And I want to bring it up because a lot of times that's not, here's the way I look at it. And I was talking to a friend of mine. It's like, listen, do you understand that a lot of people, all of us, we spend 20 hours, 40 hours a week 50 hours a week to do what? Working for money. We spend 20, 30, 40 years trying to accumulate money. That's the one that we got to make sure that we have to protect people's money. We have to make sure that we have to make sure that we do the right thing. Make sure you give people right advice, because I've seen happen where someone come in, all of a sudden they got wiped out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's painful. It's painful, but
Yeah,
it's so
it is.
important. So we have to make sure that we be very vigilant when it comes to that. Again, if someone guarantees you big, stay away. Just stay away. Stay away from
So
that.
what is this number 4? What is
Number 4, which is actually legal, believe it or not. It's actually legal, but it's not beneficial. There's been a big trend, like especially past. It's been around for a while, but like index universal life policies, it's been around for years, but it's kind of more prevalent now because what it is, very just to summarize it, what it does is you invest money. It's an IUL, which is index universal life insurance policy. It's actually a life insurance policy that you're putting money into it. And what the way that the selling point on that is because the cash value part of the life insurance, you can there's on bottom. So let's say if the market goes down, you don't lose anything. So it's 0 as a cap of 0. And if the market goes up, some of them might like an 8-10%, right? It's a cap on top also. So it sounds beneficial because the way it's a selling point is you can't lose your money. You can get all the benefits without losing anything, right? But like I said before in past episodes, never invest money in life insurance policy. Why? Because it's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. So a lot of times there's people, like I've seen happen, which is tragic. They've taken the money they're having in 401ks and put in those policies. So let's say they took 50,000 invested. Number one is you're going to have a huge tax consequence because you took your money out of products. You're going to get a huge tax consequence. So that's going to be a mess. You're going to have early withdrawal penalty because on top of that. And on top of that, there's fees involved with those plans. So if you take 50,000, you put 50,000 in there, the whole 50,000 not invested. Sometimes it's only maybe 20,000 or 30,000 or 40,000. So a lot of times so you're guaranteed to lose money. And just to let people know, somebody say, well, it's tax deferred. I don't have to, I can take the money out with not paying any taxes. Let me share something with you. Whenever there's only 2 times you don't pay tax on money. Number one, you already got taxed on it. So you can't get taxed twice. Or the second thing, you lost money. So you didn't make any money. So if you didn't make any money, they can't tax you on some earnings you didn't make.
Right.
If you put 50,000 in the plan and now you have 40,000, I can take my 40,000. Yes, you can. A big portion of it because you didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So of course, it's very complicated. It's bad news. It's not beneficial. Do not, like I've said before, do not invest money in a life insurance, any kind of life insurance product. Do not invest your money in that. That's not
especially moving your retirement to something like that's crazy. These four flags,
time again. Yes.
Yeah, these 4 flags were phenomenal. We were talking about ID theft, just your story opening, and elderly abuse, abuse of the elders, the crypto and all those Ponzi schemes, and then closing with that index universal life insurance.
Yes, moving retirement money into it.
Moving retirement money into it is an absolute no.
No, absolutely.
This is so good. I think
absolutely. Yes, and absolutely. And make sure, and we're gonna put in a chat if you and you can, like I said, speak to someone that's investment licensed, and you can check. Just let you know, there's a website called FINRA. It's called FINRA Broker Check, FINRA Broker Check, where you can check. You can type in someone's name, and you can actually see if they are investment licensed.
Oh, that's really good. Okay, so will you put that in the comments below?
Yes, we'll put in the comments below.
So in the comment below, this evening, you're going to see that website. And all the comments that are coming in, Bernard is going to go through the comments tonight. And we'll respond to any of your questions. So make sure that you comment, because that's where we're going to go back and look at the feedback and the interaction. Absolutely. This was good. Absolutely. This was really, really, really good.
Everything's on our website. Everything you can check. You can see if the person is actually appointed. You can see what company they're working with. You can see how long they've been there. You can see what states are they licensed in. Let me tell you something. That website is so crazy. everybody's literally, if they had anything wrong in the past, it's there.
Wow.
Literally. I'll tell someone, when your investment license, you're better off to, like, it's like Secret Service. Literally, they kind of screen you. Everything's right there. You can see anything, any issues you can see right then and there. So you can actually be able to see if there's any charge with that person, or and that happens a lot of times. So make sure you do that. Just those 4 things. I mean, there's a lot of things out there, too much to go over, but this kind of 4 ones that I've come across recently that's very kind of challenging.
So good. So that website really puts people on blast. Like you'll know and be able to see everything. That's real key. That's a nice nugget for us to look into. But again, all that stuff is going to be in the comments, and we're going to be reviewing the comments this evening. So thank you so much, Bernard, for another amazing episode of these 4 common red flags. And
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing what we got next week.
Thanks so much. And again, all my Floridians, all my guys, be safe out there. Praying for everyone that everyone's safe, that we're praying for the storm to lower the intensity and minimize damage as much as possible. And we're praying for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next week, and be safe.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.